What is up, bros and broettes? I'm InkSlasher44, and we are here with another episode of Versus. This is a series where we take two guns, or other things sometimes, and put them head to head to see which one is better, and to make you a better gamer. So, today, in my opinion, we have the two best SMGs in the game. Literally the best ones in my opinion. We have the Pharo, which is a burst action SMG that is automatic. So what does this mean? You can hold down the trigger and it'll shoot burst and then wait a little bit and then burst, and then you don't have to keep pulling the trigger like other burst action weapons. Then we have the Vesper, the weapon in the game with the fastest fire rate that is fully automatic, which is absolutely awesome, and these two are very, very good. Both of them are top tier weapons, and it's going to be interesting to see which one is going to win. Literally, going into this, I have no idea, so let's get into it and see which one of these things is better. But first, if you guys enjoy this video, if you enjoy Versus, if this is a series that you enjoy, a like rating would be super greatly appreciated. Let's see if we can get this thing over, let's say, 150 likes. 150 likes, do you think we can do that? Let's see. Hit that like button if you enjoy, and if you do, maybe I'll upload a second one of these this week or early next week, something like that. So that'd be fantastic if you could do that. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the first stat we're going to look at is damage, and obviously damage is probably one of the most important stats. So we're going to start off with the Pharo, and per bullet it goes like this. At short range, you do 35 damage per bullet. At short medium range, you do 30 damage. At medium long range, you do 23 damage, and at extreme long range, you're looking at 19. Whereas if we look at the Vesper up close, you do 30 damage, at mid range, 22 damage, and at long range, 19. So, as you can probably tell, the damage is much better for the Pharo, and for that, the Pharo gets boom, plus 1 point. Now, the next thing we always look at is fire rate. So fire rate is probably the second most important stat, and pretty much whenever we look at weapons, the fire rate is always better for the weapon with less damage. And guess what? It's no different for these two weapons. That being said, the Pharo has a really great fire rate. It has a 909 fire rate, whereas the Vesper has a 1200 fire rate. That's right, it's a huge fire rate. And because of that, the Vesper gets plus 1 point. Boom, there you go. Now, the next thing we're going to look at that isn't normally that important, but this case, it really is, and you're going to see why, and it's range. So, the way range works is the damage drops off to certain levels at certain ranges. If we look at the Vesper drops off to 22 damage at 7 meters, drops off to 19 damage at 18 meters. So, after 18 meters, you are looking at a 6 bullet kill. So basically, whenever you're using the Vesper, you want to stay within those 18 meters. Whereas the Pharo does 30 damage up to 19 meters, so further than the Vesper's 22 damage, which is very good. And on top of that, does 23 damage up to 38 meters. That is more than double the Vesper's range for its 22 damage, so much better range. And the Pharo is actually a weapon that actually kind of excels at mid-range. It's a weapon that you can pretty much use at mid-range and be pretty consistent with it. So up to those 38 meters, the Pharo is pretty damn good, whereas the Vesper is only really good up to 18 meters, and for that, the Pharo is going to get plus 1 point, and it takes the lead 2-1. Now, the next thing we're going to look at isn't normally that important, and it's ammo, but in this case, it really does make a big difference, because the Vesper needs a bigger magazine size because it has a faster fire rate, meaning you're going to go through bullets faster. Whereas the Pharo, you can have a little bit more lenience with it because it has the slower fire rate, therefore it should have a smaller magazine. However, it's opposite of that. The Vesper has a 30-round magazine, whereas the Pharo has a 40-round magazine. And because of this, the Pharo gets plus 1 points because you can kill that many more people with less bullets, and also you have more bullets. So because you have a higher damage and more bullets per magazine, you can kill more people, which is definitely a positive thing, and that is why the Pharo gets plus 1 points for that. So it's now 3-1, and there's a couple more things we can look at, but I'm telling you right now, they're exactly the same for both weapons. That's aim down sights time, which is 0.225 seconds for both weapons, and the reload speed, so the reload speed with a full magazine or not empty magazine is 0.1 second faster for the Vesper. However, when the magazine is empty, it's 0.1 second faster for the Pharo. So there is no really way to give out any points for that because it kind of evens out between the two. But we can look at time to kill. So obviously the way time to kill works is you take the damage and the fire rate and you combine the two to get an overall time to kill. So basically the way to look at this for these two weapons, time to kill is extremely important because it determines how fast you're going to kill the enemy. Therefore, the shorter the time to kill, the less time they have to kill you. So up close, the time to kill is better for the Pharo by 0.02 seconds. The further you get away, the time to kill for the Vesper gets better. However, the accuracy for the Vesper is so bad that the only time to kills that matter are the ones up close, and all of those, the Pharo has a better time to kill, meaning the time to kill for the Pharo is much better, most of the time by 0.02 seconds. So that is one more stat that the Pharo has better, so plus another point, it wins 4-1. So really, I guess it wasn't close, but I consider this to be very close because both guns are very good, and it just so happens that the Pharo is a little bit better stat-wise. Now, that being said, to do this well with the Pharo, you have to be a good player, because if you miss your first burst with the Pharo, there is burst delay, which means your time to kill is going to be much slower. So for the more accurate player, the Pharo is definitely a better choice. However, if you're less accurate, if you can't rely on your accuracy, the Vesper may be a better choice for you. And even though it seems like a blowout, these weapons are a lot closer than it seems. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like rating would be super fantastic. Check me out on Twitter. If you have any questions for me, that is the place to do so. Link in the description. Subscribe for new Call of Duty videos every single day. Thanks for watching, guys. And until next time, peace out.